Prades Prod Negro. Prades Prod Negro.
Hello everyone, my name is Easy and welcome to another episode of Easy Does It. Now, this channel basically does reactions and reviews on other YouTube channels and does some daily vlogs. Now, for this week, we are going to take a look at the channel Whatever. Now it says Whatever too because the main channel is like a really long podcast. These are basically clips from those podcasts that are done on Whatever Clips, which is Whatever too. Now, I have watched a couple of clips from this channel before. It popped on my radar or my, recommendation YouTube. I have once, just once, tried to watch the original channel, which is Just Whatever, and the guy, the host of the podcast, his name is Brian. He had all these girls on the panel, and it was like 5 fucking hours long, and I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, cut that shit in half. Like, I can understand an hour or two, but 5 fucking hours. And it was one of his latest ones, and one of the girls walked out because she'd been on there for like 4 fucking hours. And she was all like, listen, I'm hungry, I gotta go. She just pretty much took off, didn't come back. And the other girls were getting bored. Now what he does is he usually brings a panel of like college girls onto his show, like, 7 or 8 of them. And it's usually, sometimes it's just him, but sometimes he'll have another like special guest on there, another YouTuber or someone from podcasts or something like that. Sometimes it's him and another guy, and sometimes it's him and another woman, or maybe 2 women. But normally he has like 7 or 8 college girls sitting at the table, and they're all feminists. Every single one of them, just about. Every once in a while, he'll have a lady on there who's not a feminist. But most generally, they're all feminists. And he calls them out on their hypocrisy quite a bit. And it really ticks them off, and they get angry sometimes, not all the time. But he tries to explain to them why they're wrong, and they get upset a lot of times. Like the last one I watched not too long ago, a couple days ago, from his latest. They just kept going on and on. There were 2 of them. They just kept going on and on, around and around in a circle, about why body count matters. And it was just ridiculous. They knew exactly why it matters. They just wanted to argue with him. And they knew they were wrong, but they just kept going on and on and on. It was just ridiculous. That's the girl walked out or whatever. People were getting bored, and it just kept going on and on for like 5 fucking hours. It was just the same fucking thing over and over because these 2 girls just would not concede knowing they were wrong. It was just ridiculous. But anyways, that's normally what happens. And most of these women are, yeah, I say women, not ladies, women. I do not consider feminists ladies. They are women. Big difference between a lady and a woman. Okay, anyways, these women, they're all young. They're like in their early 20s, 19 to like 23, 24, somewhere around there. A bunch of them are from different places in the country, but yet they all now are here in Cali. I think he's based in Cali because they always talk about, you know, cities in Cali. And you can tell that they're all going to these colleges in these different cities in Cali, and they're completely different before they get there, but after they've gone to college, they're straight up feminists, every single one of them in Cali. So that tells you a lot. They're being brainwashed and indoctrinated in this feminism, the most evil cult in the entire world. Throughout history even, is feminism. Killed more innocent people than any other cult too. Anyways, so basically, you know, he's got about 78 million views. You know, he's doing okay. You know, he created the channel in like 2013, and he has a decent amount of subscribers. You know, almost 500,000, 436. That's not too bad. That's doing fairly decent. But anyways, we're going to take a look at his channel, this channel here that he's created, and get your thoughts on it. So, well, watch a clip. Remember, this is just a clip from like a 4 fucking hour, you know, it's ridiculous that he does it that long. It should be only an hour or two. He shouldn't do it that long. But anyways, it's only a short clip from his podcast show. If you want to watch the full 4 hour episode, you'll have to go to his main channel, which is Whatever. Not Whatever Clips. This is Whatever Clips. Okay. So let's check this out and see what these women have to say.
What do you think is when men have that's
like unfairness towards men?
Yeah. Like I understand like the draft, for instance, but I was wondering.
And the title is "Men Are More Oppressed
men
Than Women," which is absolutely
to military
true.
conscription. Women are entirely exempt, so men are far more likely to die in war.
Yep.
On that note, men throughout all of human existence have been 99.999% of military casualties.
Yep.
And you know, I would argue that men, just in the context of warfare, just on this sole grievance, I would say that the suffering men have experienced when it comes to warfare outweighs all of women's collective grievances probably 1,000 times over. You might not like to hear that, but like, I'd encourage all of you to watch All Quiet on the Western Front. It's available streaming on Netflix. War is brutal in ways you cannot imagine. That film cannot even begin to capture the degree to which men have exclusively suffered throughout all of human history. And so, not to say that women haven't faced their own, specifically women, specifically female disadvantages, but war is like on a totally other level. Somewhat related to war, men are more likely to have post-traumatic stress disorder. Men are more likely to be homeless. 80% of the homeless are men. Of the people who are homeless, men are more likely to be rough sleepers. So when women are homeless, they're much more likely to get into shelters. They're much more likely to be homeless, but in a car, for example, the people that you often see sleeping on the street.
This
when
looks
it's
like a
cold,
panel of all
generally
Asian
speaking,
chicks.
the vast majority of those are men. Men are more. Should I keep going?
Yeah.
I got more. Okay, men are more likely to commit suicide. 80% of suicides are men. Men are more likely to be alcoholics. Men are more likely to be drug addicted. Men are more likely to be incarcerated. Men are more likely to have harsher conditions when incarcerated. Men are more likely to be in solitary confinement. Men are more likely to receive the death penalty. Men are more likely to be prosecuted than women for the same crime. Men are more likely to receive harsher punishment than women for the same crime. Men are more likely to be the victim of a violent crime. Men are more likely to be murdered. Men are more likely to be the victim of police misconduct, police brutality, and police killing. Men are more likely to be falsely accused of a crime. Men are more likely to be victims of a miscarriage of justice. Men are more likely to be wrongfully
You can tell
convicted of
that
a
they're
crime.
not.
Men are more likely to be wrongfully
They don't like
executed.
hearing it.
Men are more likely to work
They're
a
wanting
shitty
to
job.
ignore it. They want to
Men are
get
more
out of
likely
the
to work a
fucking
dangerous
room.
job.
They hate
Men are
it.
more likely to get injured at work.
They hate
Men
the
are more
truth. Look
likely
at
to die
them
at work.
smile and grin
93%.
because they know.
Men are less.
They're
likely
like
to do
rolling
well in
their
school.
eyes.
Men are less likely to graduate from high
They don't
school.
want to hear it.
Men are less likely to go to college. Men are less likely to receive scholarships. Men are less likely to graduate from college. Men are more likely to drop out of high school. Men are more likely to
Especially
drop
that
out of college.
one right
Men are
there
more likely
with
to
the
be
color
divorced by their
orange
partner. Men are more likely to
dress
pay
or
child support. Men are
whatever
more likely
next to
pay
the white.
alimony. Men
She
have fewer social
definitely-
safety nets. Men
She's
die
rolling her
earlier than
eyes
women.
like,
It's about 5
whatever.
years. I think it's more in some countries. Here's a big one. Men have their penises mutilated at birth in a vast majority.
I don't know why he calls it
of Western
mutilation.
countries.
It's not
all countries,
mutilation.
but
They're
a
just
lot of
cutting
Western
off the
countries, there's
foreskin,
circumcision.
which
And
is
there's
much
certainly
better.
female genital
It keeps you from
mutilation in
getting
some countries, but male circumcision is much
a
more
lot.
practiced than female
Circumcision
Men are the
circumcision is
exclusive victims
good
of paternity
for
fraud.
men.
Men have no reproductive rights.
It's easier
Men
to
have
keep
no abuse or
that
domestic
foreskin. You
violence
have to
shelters.
keep it clean
Gay men are more
because if
likely
you
to be a
don't,
victim of a hate crime.
it
Men are less
carries
likely to
all
get
kinds of
custody their
diseases
children.
and
Boys are more
germs
likely
and
to
shit
die from
if
child
it's not
maltreatment.
kept
Boys are
clean.
more likely to be victims of infanticide.
So
Boys are less likely to be adopted. Men are
circumcision
more likely
is
to die without having
good for
children. Men
men.
are more likely to die as virgins. Men are less likely to reproduce. Historically, reproductive success was
He's showing all the
7-1 in
chats.
women's favor.
They're just like,
Men are more
yep.
likely to be body shamed without any repercussions to the shamer. Men are more likely to be body shamed for traits out of their control, and men are discriminated against due to diversity quotas. That's a
Totally,
few.
and I understand that. I feel really bad to be a man in this world. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of pains you guys suffer through, but my point being is that women didn't create these, and men created these issues.
Wow, she's
I
delusional.
think that a lot of this is based on the patriarchy.
Well, I reject that there's a patriarchy.
I do too. There is no such
I
thing.
reject that there's a patriarchy. Yes.
There's not. That's been debunked over and over and over. There is no patriarchy. Right now, we are living in a matriarchy, not a patriarchy. Completely different, and they damn well know it. Women have had the power throughout history. Women are oppressed. It's bullshit. It's straight up lies from an evil cult known as feminism. It's all a lie. It's all been debunked over and over. Women have had it so good throughout history. Now, are there dickheads? Guys that are dickheads who's treated their women bad? Of course. But 90% of the women want them type of guys who treat them like shit. So they bitch and whine and complain and moan, but they always go after them type of guys. And it's not the vast majority of men. It's just a small percentage of men that are like that. But throughout history, women, it's the men who've been oppressed, not the women. The women have had all the power. They always have. Men are always looking for love. They just want someone to come home to and love on them. Treat them with respect. Be nice and kind to them. You know, they want affection and love. Women, on the other hand, they don't look at relationships that way. They are looking for material possessions. They want money. I know, you know, lots of people are probably going to argue with me that, but it's true. They just look for the money. Ask them. They're out for the money. You have to be financially set, or they don't want anything to do with you. If you can't fucking have 6 figures, they don't want nothing to do with you. It's all about money to them, not love. What guy wants to come home and hear them bitch and moan and whine and groan all the time? Nobody. They just want to be loved. But women aren't that way. Even though they claim they are, it's bullshit. They're lying. They're material, men are loving. Completely different. Anyways, throughout history, they've manipulated men to get what they want. They always have. Why? And why do men fall for it? Because they actually love their women. Women don't. They want that material possession. They want the new house. They want some land. They want fucking this or they want that. They want a new car. You know, whatever. It's always something. Something to do with money or material possession. And they manipulate their men to get it for them. And it always works because men are in love with them. And they're like, oh, my man loves me. He buys me this and that and that and that and that. Not mentioning anything about her loving him. So, feminism is a straight up lie. It's an evil cult. Women need to stop acting like women and go back to being ladies. Have some self-respect. Not a high body count. They want to flip the roles and reverse everything. You can't do that. It does not work. Nature has proven it over and over again. You cannot flip the roles. You know, even if you're religious, you know that God created women to serve men. That's just the way it is. Nature designed it that way. Men are leaders, women are followers. That's the way it works. That's how a perfect relationship works. Women are submissive. Men are leaders. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. Tell me what you think of Brian's whatever channel, and let me know your thoughts on it. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.